Hello, all. I'm glad to be here today. Before I begin, I would like to thank PMIPCC for giving me this opportunity to share with you all my thoughts on these topics. As PMIPCC celebrates 25 years, their initiative, Project Edge 25 Years Power Series, perfectly reflects what our community stands for. That is, continuous learning, sharing experiences, and preparing for the project leadership. Today, our profession is undergoing a transformation. AI. AI is impacting every way the projects are delivered, decisions are taken, and how the value is perceived and realized by the organizations. As projects professionals, we are trusted to take deliver the projects. In the AI era, we are also trusted to govern the decisions that shape the projects. Because, but as AI is already involved in every way the decisions are made, the one question that becomes more important than any algorithm is, can we trust those decisions that AI makes? This is precisely what I am here today to share with you all about. So let me give you an analogy. Imagine walking into a bank where an AI approves your loan in 3 seconds. The customer asks one simple question: why? Nobody can answer. Now imagine the opposite. The AI explains the decision, the business owns the outcome, the regulator can audit, and the customer trusts it. The difference isn't AI, the difference is trust. Today, I'd like to share an executive framework that I have been using to think about one simple question: how do we move AI from black box intelligence to boardroom confidence? So let's first understand how AI is changing organizations. So let me give you a brief details about AI revolution. Every decade had a defining technology. While internet connected people, cloud connected systems, mobile connected customers, AI connected decisions. But something bigger is happening. Agentic AI is beginning to make decisions on behalf of humans. This is the first technology that changes not just how we work, it changes who makes decisions. That is why trust suddenly becomes a boardroom topic. But changing who makes decisions creates a new challenge, isn't it? So then we have the AI trust cases. Across industries, we are seeing the same stories. Let me share with you some analogies. The AI is technically correct, yet people don't trust it. Uh, as you see on the screen, let us discuss about some scenarios. In the banking, where a loan is approved, but customers don't understand why. In healthcare, AI detects the diseases, but doctor cannot explain reasoning. In recruitment, the best candidates are selected, but there is no way how the process has been done. Fairness is questioned. And in banking scenario itself, where a lot of frauds are happened, but the fraud is blocked, but situation like there is no clarity on how that has happened and what was how the decision was made. Customer loses confidence. So what I mean to say is that accuracy doesn't create trust. Trust comes from transparency, governance, and evidence. Moving ahead, the trust gap. So it becomes important that we invest in AI trust so that the trust develops in the systems, how the processes happen. So if we invest only in AI and the investment in the trust is less, you can see the gap exists, and that is where how the inefficiencies props up, and there is no value realization out of your investment in AI. You can invest in models, compute data, but if the investments in governance, evidence, controls, explainability are not done, and then the impact is that lower adoption and higher regulatory risk in the industries where the regulatory impact is heavy. So organizations which are investing faster in AI capabilities than in the mechanisms that create trust. Why trust matter? Trust determines whether AI is getting adopted or not. Trust affects three very different audiences. Customer asks, can I trust this? Board asks, should we invest more? Regulators ask, can you prove what happened? When trust exists, AI scales, and when trust doesn't, AI remains a pilot forever. That's why trust has become an executive capability. Without trust, AI remains a technology experiment. With trust, it becomes a enterprise capability. Moving ahead, let me show you a confidence equation. Confidence is earned through model more than the model accuracy. So what I have positioned is that when you want to have a confidence in your AI and its decisions, the various parameters like accuracy, transparency, governance, and evidence have to be involved in that. Within accuracy, the predictions can be correct, and with transparency, you are able to explain the outcomes. With governance, you have the policies and oversight to ensure that your AI is aligned with the priorities. And with evidence, you have the audit trail and monitoring as well. Accuracy creates capabilities, transparency, governance, and evidence create confidence. So this is where I bring you all one question, framework that I use to think about trust and deliver the confidence and the trust that the organization needs. Trust is a simple executive framework that I have developed to bring trust into the decisions that AI takes. The T in the trust explains the transparency, how the decisions are made, how the decisions are taken. And the U delivers the understanding, how the audience specific, R responsibility, where it shows a clear ownership for the decisions. And then the S stands for safeguards, and the T stands for traceability, evidence, and the audit parameters of your trustable decision making. Technology enables AI, trust enables adoption. Moving ahead, let me take you through all the various parameters of the trust framework. That is, starting with transparency. People rarely reject AI. They reject the mystery. Transparency means explaining the inputs, outputs, and limitations. Considering the inputs, the way what data it was trained on, what are the prompts you're giving, what is the context around the situation around which you're using the AI. And then the AI model explains the reasoning, the inference, how the decisions are made. And then with the output, you have the decision and you have the confidence with the inputs and the AI model when you align with these three. And then combining inputs, AI model, and output, you have the explanation why and the limitations part of the decision making. Transparency transforms AI from a black box into decision which people can understand and trust. And then coming to the responsibility part, who owns AI decisions? This is one of the biggest misconceptions people all over across the world have. AI never owns accountability, but the people who do or who use AI have. Business owns outcome, technology owns implementation, projects coordinate delivery. And then finally, humans remain accountable for the AI they are using. AI can recommend decisions, but accountability always belongs to the people. Understanding. Coming to understanding, different stakeholders need different explanation. A board perceives AI in a different way to how a regulator and how the customers perceive it. Board sees in terms of strategic risk with the AI they are gonna use and how it becomes a risk or what are the strict strategic risk capabilities or risk reducing capabilities or what is the impact that AI gonna have on the organization and ultimately what is the business value that the AI that they are using delivers the organization. While coming to the regulator, they see it in a different way. That is, regulators see in terms of when you're using AI to make decisions, whether it is trustable, do you have the evidence, and are you compliant to the existing rules and laws of the land? And coming to the customer, they perceive it in a very different way. When where when any decision that is impacting the customer uses AI, the key questions are that comes to the user or the customer is why me and what is the confidence that the organization has in using AI to take decisions related to me. So here the important point is that one AI decision is there, but the three audiences perceive it in a different way, and then there are three different explanations. Coming to the safeguards, there have to be enough human oversight and controls when we are using AI to take decisions, which is a key aspect of the trust framework and the trust in the decisions that we are going to make. Any AI system that organizations uses, they have to have the various parameters that include bias detection, which they have to ensure that identify and mitigating unfair outcomes of the every decisions or every variable or parameter that they're going to use. And then key parameter of the trust in the AI system is And the safeguard that you are going to include is the continuous monitoring. So a data, while we are starting or developing a system, might be different. And when you are using it in the live, the drift happens and then the performance degrades. So you have to ensure that we are continuously monitoring and the drift is being tracked and ensure that accordingly the changes are made. And then top of that, there has to exist a human oversight. It's not that AI takes the decision completely. AI can take the decision based on the past patterns and data, but a human has to take the final decisions, like augmenting the AI suggestions. And then you have to include and ensure that enough risk controls are there in terms of policies, alerts, escalations, so that we are enough safeguards on the AI question. Responsible AI is not about removing humans from the decision making. It's about empowering humans with the right safety systems, bias detection, continuous monitoring, human oversight, and risk and controls. Moving ahead, discussing about the traceability, we have to ensure that evidence is there on the every aspect of the AI decisions that are being taken. So let me give you an analogy or a scenario. Imagine a regulator asking, why was this customer rejected 6 months ago? In a banking scenario, while applying for a loan, etc. Could your organization answer? Traceability means every decision leaves an audit trail. Inputs, regarding the inputs, what are the data that has been used, how the decision was arrived at, what was the prompt you have used, and coming to the models, what is the model, what are the parameters that have been used to infer about the decision, and how the decision was taken, what was the decision, what was the confidence level which you have arrived at, and and then finally you have the evidence as well, where you can show when a regulator or a customer asks how the decision was made. You have logs, you can be audit every decision that you take or the system has taken. Every AI decision should leave you an auditable trail when a decision is being taken, like from the inputs to the evidence. So the key question that or generally people have, or the is that people generally believe that when you are able to explain, it shows the trust in the system. But explainability and trust are two different things. Explainability is not equal to trust. Trust is a multidimensional factor, while explainability shows you the model reasoning, the feature importance, and how the decision has been taken, the rationale behind it. Trust involves much more variables that include governance aspect, the evidence, the accountability for the decisions, the safeguard rails that you have kept around the system, and transparency of the system that you're using. Explainability is necessary, but trust is and through governance, evidence, accountability, and safeguards. So, uh, any project or new project leaders that are coming up, or project leaders that are growing, the key question is that when they are moving from delivery managers to the decision making aspect of is, or when you're using AI in the systems, you move to a role of a steward who can trust in AI, or people who are impacted by the projects are ensure that they can trust the decisions of the systems. So the delivery aspect of it is in a project, I mean, in general, or the scope schedule, budget. And the transformation you have, you do around it are the data, the AI, the change, etc. But when you move to the role of AI trust steward, the key questions or the key variables are the governance, ethics, and evidence. Tomorrow's project leaders will be measured not only by delivery, but by the trust their AI-enabled outcomes create. Moving ahead, let me briefly tell you about the AI life cycle as well and how you can embed trust from the throughout the entire life cycle from the idea to retirement. Trust begins before development and continues throughout the life cycle of the AI. That is, you have an like various aspects of the life cycle are the idea, like where you have the business case and they are developing the idea how to deliver the value to the organization. So the trust starts, like the embedding trust starts from idea till you are closing the project or retiring the project. And through the various aspects of the life cycle of the AI as well. That is, like as I said, throughout the idea generation part or the through the business problem discussion, arriving at the solution, and then the designing part where you understand the requirements, the various aspects of how to create the solution, the data part, and while you're developing the or building the project, the development and testing aspects of it. So you include the trust aspect throughout the idea discussion, designing of the solution, building of the solution during the testing part, and even while during the deployment or the release of the project or after the live system is live, you monitor the system for the performance, how the data is degrading or the trackage is there. And then finally, even while like retiring the solution or closing the project, you ensure that the trust is there in the solution that you are using. Trust, as I said, is not a checkpoint. It is a continuous discipline across the entire AI life cycle, right through from the idea generation to the retirement part. So let me tell you a brief or discuss about a banking case study. Trusted AI assisted loan approval. Okay, so uh, taking the loan approval scenario, let us like discuss a brief scenario that is like customer applies for a loan, customer data is used, AI calculates the risk, the credit officer or the like goes through the risk parameters, risk score is generated, AI gives the how like whatever based on the data that is collected, credit officer reviews, evidence or the data about the decision making is recorded, and then uh, decision is taken, and the customer is informed, and you have a trusted mechanism of how the AI is being used to take those decisions. You have the evidence or the decision logs required by the regulator as well, when asked, if and when asked, how the decision was arrived at. So in this scenario, everybody wins. The bank, the customer, and the regulator as well, all throughout the all the various aspects of the decision making are taken care. So when you have a trusted process of loan approval, everybody, all the people involved in the decision making, the user, the regulators, all are, everybody is happy in this scenario. So what I mean to say is that when you have a trusted process in the how the decisions are arrived at, that accelerates the decisions. Human review and evidence creates trusted lending outcomes. So, considering the similar scenarios in maybe healthcare industry, like clinical AI with trusted human oversight. AI assets when a patient visits a healthcare organization for treatment, a patient data is collected, symptoms are analyzed, medical history is analyzed, and then based on the patterns, AI takes the decisions. I mean, AI suggests the decisions, or the clinic doctors decide the diagnosis recommendation, and the physicians review the clinical judgment. And then finally, you have a trusted care treatment, and the evidence is logged. So here, AI supports clinicians, human oversight, patient trust, and evidence-based decisions improve healthcare outcomes. This becomes even more important at enterprise scale. So let me briefly discuss with you all the current scenarios, or giving an analogy about the current systems, how this like AI is used across diseases as well. Across diseases, organizations are deploying hundred of co-pilots. So scaling of AI co-pilots with enterprise governance. The challenge is building co-pilots. Isn't It's not only building like not just in building co-pilot, but how to govern them consistently. Governance enables when you're building AI co-pilots at the level of enterprises. It enables scale, and scale creates the business value. So throughout this, productivity increases when you are deploying AI co-pilots. Governance enables the policy have policies and guardrails that you are using to safeguard AI deployment, and the scaling enables the business functions your organizations are using. And combining these three, you have the business value and a trusted adoption. So enterprise AI succeeds when co-pilot scale under consistent governance, security, and trust. So this is where I discuss with you all the AI trust architecture that I use to have the AI trust from like the question from AI trust from like the boardroom has. Technology alone isn't enough. The various parameters of how a trust is delivered across organization involves right through from the business strategy, the use cases, value, the AI platform. Trust is through that, like your trust is embedded in the decision making right through by design, right through the business strategy, the use cases that you're using, the value you're perceiving in the models, in the data, in the applications that you're using. Trust is embedded across right throughout the life cycle from strategy, a platform or a technology that you're using, throughout the governance that you're using to align with the organizational policies, risk and compliance aspects of it. And finally, you have the evidence layer as well. The monitoring logs, audit are taken care of so that throughout the life cycle, you have trust in the system that you are using. Enterprise AI trust is achieved when business strategy, technology, governance, and evidence operate as one architecture, delivering you the trustable AI platforms or solutions for the organization. So the future of trusted AI. The future doesn't belong to AI. It doesn't belong to humans. It belongs to organization who combine all the three things. That is human leadership, trusted governance, AI intelligence. And combining these three, you have a competitive advantage that organization needs to survive in an ever-changing technology world, or where every company is becoming a AI first or AI native companies. So the key takeaways that I want, there is one message I'd like you all to remember is that AI projects don't fail because of the algorithms. They fail because people don't trust them. Trust is becoming a strategic capability. While the technology enables AI, trust is what enables scaling AI or any decision making across the organization. So when you have a framework or a repetitive executive model to implement AI, and when you combine it with the transparency where you can explain and AI is understandable, and top of that you wrap up with the governance aspects, that is the clear ownership of the AI decision and the accountability, and on top of which you have the evidence as well, where the compliance is taken care of and you are audit ready, confident, and then leadership, and for the leadership, trust becomes a competitive advantage. Trust is not another AI feature. It is the operating model that transforms AI into enterprise value. So I thank you all for giving your time or going through the our discussion. So the key point I want to make is that uh, AI will undoubtedly shape the future, but trust will determine who leads in the future as AI becomes, or AI shaping the every aspect of decision making, or how projects are delivered, or how the decision making is taken by the organization. So while AI is shaping the uh, like organizations are perceived, or how organizations are delivering their or value is being perceived, trust will determine who leads it as every organization becomes a native. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.